Welcome to Let's Talk. I'm Jade Harrell, and I'm joined by Teena Love, Amy Rivera, Amber Klear, and Jami Ballentine Dolby. Welcome, ladies.
Welcome. Thank you for having me today. I'm excited.
Welcome back. It's spring again, and the weather is changing. How are you enjoying this weather, and how are you taking part in it? Let me start with you, Jami.
Oh, I'm enjoying it. You know what I'm enjoying about spring coming? I'm enjoying like a little daily walk. So I've been doing at least a minimum 10-minute walk, just even if it's just nothing to the end of my block and back, just to kind of enjoy some fresh air every day.
Very nice. Amy, I know you're getting it too.
I am, just like Jami. I'm becoming more outside person again, and I just love the fresh air, the fresh smell, and it's new life. So I feel like it's a new beginning and a new season for me emotionally and physically. So I'm loving the spring weather.
It is most certainly time. And how are you soaking it all up, Miss Amber Klear?
Oh, well, I have been putting my garden in a lot of cold weather crops like turnips, beets, spinach can already start growing. However, I took a little break, and this last weekend I went to Merrimack Springs Park. It is absolutely gorgeous. They have a museum, a history drive, which tells a lot of the history about the area, and they have a trout hatchery and a natural spring that's the 5th largest in Missouri. And it's cold, it's beautiful. The daffodils are blooming on the hillside, and it is absolutely gorgeous. And it's big enough for everybody.
I went trout fishing there. So
yeah, it's like $25. You can register on site.
Yeah. So it is a place. And if you guys haven't checked it out, I urge you to go.
Yeah, there's pictures up on my Facebook if you want to see them. They're absolutely gorgeous.
I most certainly do. It sounds dreamy. Miss Teena Love, how is this spring warm weather making you feel?
Well, spring is my favorite because it's my birthday season. So I'm really happy. I got a birthday coming up, 50 years old. So what I'm doing is I am walking, child. I'm walking. I'm getting like 2 45-minute walk sessions in each day because I got to be snatched now, child. Got to get snatched.
Hold on. You said you're 50?
I'm going to be 50. Yes, indeed.
Wow. You look fabulous. Look at that. I want to look like that when I'm 50. Look at that. I'm going to start walking right now.
Thank you. So my boy Terry Starks has me on a nice little weight plan and food and exercise. So we'll see what happens.
Woo! Wow.
I am loving to hear that, and that you've got a trainer to help. And baby, happy 100 to you.
Right. You're looking solid.
That's right. Welcome to the club, my dear. Welcome to the club. Oh my goodness. Well, let's talk about the COVID vaccine. This is where we gather to share our perspective on the issues, and this is most certainly an issue because the getting the COVID vaccine is almost like the Hunger Games right now. People are going crazy to get it, but is it the right thing to do? Our social media pages are flooded with pictures of friends and family members showing off their vaccination cards. They're doing that thing. Well, that's for the few that have been able to get access. Finding and securing appointments can be almost a full-time job. And when you do find one, you may have to search hours and hours away. There seem to be so many questions surrounding the process, as well as how to approach it. And so we wanted to bring on an expert so that we can have this conversation. We want to welcome Dr. Elizabeth Bergamini from Cardinal Children's Hospital, who spends her downtime helping people find vaccination appointments. Dr. Bergamini, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So give us an understanding about how you interface with the vaccine and distribution. What's your connection there?
So I kind of came into it like by chance. I was trying to help some high-risk people back when the vaccines first were available to the public. So that would have been like end of January, early February, and then realized just how hard it is to get it. So then it kind of became my passion to figure out, okay, where are the vaccines going and how can we make this easier for people so that it isn't like the Hunger Games? And it just kind of blossomed from there.
right? Well, this wasn't your area of focus initially. You are a pediatrician,
Yes.
but
Yes.
you must have been paying attention to the needs and the challenges that the families you were serving were dealing with.
Right. I work with a lot of families, especially I kind of bounce around from different hospitals, but my home base lately has been DePaul Hospital. And that's a very high risk community there. And we weren't seeing any vaccines coming in that area. And I mean, those families were so frustrated, and I was frustrated for them. And so I was like, I need to figure out, if I can't change it, how can I get these people to get vaccinated?
Were you able to make breakthroughs? Were you able to make a difference where they were running into limitations?
So initially it was very difficult because the vaccine distribution was not stellar in the state of Missouri. If you look at the early numbers, the vaccines were St. Louis, which has like something like 37% of the population of Missouri. And then on the other side of the state, Kansas City, which also has a high percentage. We were getting allotted the same amount, if not less, of the vaccine as the same rural communities that didn't have that much population. So initially trying to find something local was near impossible. So people that were willing to travel, I could send elsewhere, but that poses an issue too. What if you don't have the transportation or the means, like you can't go be in the car for that long? We were excluding those people. So until we got the vaccines locally, which we've had them for probably regularly for about a month or so now, it was proving to be very difficult.
Understood. And has that been the typical challenge of this distribution process all along? Are we finding that this is pretty much how things are operating and folks have had to get creative and resourceful in order to find what they need?
Exactly. Fortunately, it sounds like the elected officials have listened a little bit and have realized that that vaccines were getting wasted in these areas that didn't have the higher population. So in the last couple of weeks and in the coming weeks, we're seeing a big shift in the number of vaccines in the St. Louis metro area and the county.
Interesting. I want to bring the ladies in on this conversation because it's something that we face and deal with as well. But before we go there, what do you mean by high risk when we're talking about high risk population in the area and the hospital that you serve? What are those factors that make it high risk, and does that change the priority of receipt and or access to vaccines?
Sure. A number of things make people high risk. But in the communities that I serve, the area surrounding DePaul Hospital is a predominantly Black community. And we know, we have the research that shows that Blacks are dying at a higher percentage from COVID than people like me. And our vaccine distribution didn't reflect that. Like, we're not getting it to the high risk populations, and not only Blacks, but like the elderly who can't navigate the online systems and also can't do the transportation. Like, we were like literally excluding a large portion of the high risk communities in our vaccine distribution and the access to it, and also like the people that don't have reliable internet connection, which has been a huge issue. Like, how are they signing up? And that was kind of something that I was, trying to navigate with a lot of my patient families. They're like, well, we used to go to the library for the internet, and, like, here we are.
Yeah. Well, let me open it up to our crew. Amy, I guess we'll have you kick it off, and then ladies chime in as you see fit, because, this is things that's affecting us on a daily. We're hearing similar concerns. I'm feeling good about the hope and the work that you're doing, but I know that there's still a great deal more to do. Amy.
So I get the same question by several different people. I've had COVID and I've had it. I'm just now getting over the coughing and the lung issues that came with it. So the question I get in my community is, well, if you already had it, do I need to get the vaccine? And that is a common question I have. So I would love to get your expertise on what is the right answer for that. Even if there is one, what would it be?
Absolutely. So yes, the recommendation is that even if you've had COVID, you should get the vaccine. There was a bit of a question on like, should people that have recently had COVID or kind of recently-ish, should they wait a certain amount of time? And there was a kind of vague recommendation like to wait 60 to 90 days. That wasn't because we didn't think those people needed the vaccine. It was that we know that you can get some immunity from having COVID and it lasts somewhere between 60 to 90 days on average. So we were trying to get other people vaccines and get more people immune to it while the people that have had COVID recently still have some immunity on board. But absolutely, we know the immunity from COVID does not last, especially with the variants floating around. And even if you've had COVID, you should still get the vaccine.
Great. No, that makes sense, because that was another question. Well, why should we wait? And you just answered that question. So yeah, I get that question quite a bit in our community. So thank you for that.
Well, and my son actually he's gotten it twice. So, there's the whole, thought of, once you get it, you can't get it again. And I would say that would be false as well, because he actually, again, has had it twice. So that's.
Yeah,
something.
absolutely. We've had several reports, across the world of people getting it multiple times. I don't like to compare it to the flu because it's definitely not the flu, but just like you can get the flu with the different strains, then, this kind of COVID is going to mutate and whatnot. And if immunity wanes, you can definitely get it more than once.
Can you explain why we still test positive up to 3 months? I mean, I know the answer, but I don't explain it probably as well as you do. And I get these questions quite a bit. And when it was explained to me, it was a little overwhelming, but maybe you can help us better understand why we still test positive up to 3 months after having COVID.
Depending on what the sensitivity of the test is, or like a PCR test, a saliva test and whatnot, and where you're shedding the virus, even after you stop the contagious period, you're still going to have like the antibodies and whatnot in there in your system, and can cause you to test positive subsequently, even after the contagious period. But a lot of people will start testing negative. I've seen it in hospitalized patients where we'll test them, and well, not me because I don't take care of adults, but the adult doctors will test them, and they'll be positive on admission, and then they have a prolonged stay, and then their PCR test will be negative subsequently down the road. So it's really individual, like patient dependent and person, and figuring out who is actively infected and shedding virus that's kind of proven to be a challenge, But if we know when you were symptomatic and then, you quarantined and whatnot, and you still test positive, we have reason to believe that you're not contagious anymore.
You spoke about the area just surrounding around DePaul and other Black communities. There's two things: of one, not having maybe the proper access to the vaccine, or not having the access to even register for the vaccine. Can you talk about getting over that stigma about getting the vaccine? And in the Black community, I know that just history has reminded us that the government has not always played nice, has not always been kind to Black communities, especially when it comes to medical experiments. I've received the vaccine, and I'm grateful that my parents and my immediate family, those over 18, are all vaccinated. But it was, a difficult conversation with those older adults who maybe remember the Tuskegee trial and other things. Like, what, as a medical professional, what are some of the things that you all are communicating with those communities to say, this is the right choice, discuss it with your doctor, we need you to be vaccinated?
Right, absolutely. And it is something that, I have a hard time, I can be like, no, I got the vaccine. And they're kind of like, yes, but you don't know, you don't have the same barriers. And it's true. So I try to find, if I can, prominent people that have gotten it, prominent Black people, and that have spoken to the effects, that this is safe. And I point out the safety and efficacy of it, and be like, I wouldn't recommend something that I wouldn't do for myself or wouldn't do for my children. And my kids are too young to get it, but once they're able to get it, I will have them get it. I tell them that I got the vaccine, and I got it back in December. So sometimes that reassures people too, because we're several months into having the vaccine, and I haven't grown a tail or something weird, and just this overall reassurance that that we're not targeting them and experimenting on these populations, because, you know, I know that is a big concern, and yes, the government hasn't played nice in the past. And sometimes I'll get through to, you know, sometimes I am able to talk to, like, give them the facts and show them, you know, like, I really do believe this is safe and I really do have your best interests at heart. And sometimes I'm not able to, and that's okay. I encourage them to talk to people that they trust, people that they know, like, you know, I'm like, do you know anybody that's had the vaccine? And talk to them and, you know, figure out their thought process on it too. And just kind of giving them any resources that I can so that they're armed to make the decision themselves and feel like, yeah, that they aren't being experimented on.
So I'm in a unique position because I have O negative blood, and I actually stopped giving blood to give plasma because I had the antibodies. And so I'm in a weird position where A, I know that I have antibodies, and B, I'm a semi-healthy person in my 30s. So it almost feels selfish for me to get the vaccine when I do have access. Like, when is the right time for someone that is healthy to get it? Like, is that they should just get it because they can, or should they wait? Like, is it a moral thing? Like,
yeah, I've been telling everybody, if the opportunity presents itself to you and someone approaches you with the vaccine for your arm, you take, I mean, obviously it's your choice, but like, if you have the opportunity and you're wanting to get the vaccine, don't pass it up, because you're only healthy and low risk until you're not. You know, and I've seen perfectly healthy individuals that have long-term lingering effects from COVID. And while you're doing a wonderful thing by donating your plasma, my hopes is that we're going to keep making medical advancements in the treatment of COVID, and or like looking into people that have been vaccinated. Is their plasma still helpful in treating this? So I say, with, you know, like, hands down, if you presented with the opportunity, I would get it, protect yourself, and, you know, it's that way you know you're protected. And hopefully, if you were in the small percentage of people that still get COVID after getting the vaccine, you would have a mild case and still be able to carry on with life.
Yeah, it sounds like, you know, as our generous heart Amber is giving, that maybe we can join your troop of folks trying to connect them to the information they need to understand the vaccine, but also help them find access. Dr. Elizabeth Bergamini, can you tell us where you would like us to have folks help or get more information?
Yeah, a big thing that I've been telling people is local health departments. So obviously St. Louis County, the St. Louis City health departments, they post a lot of information on their websites, on their Facebook pages. But if you're near a rural like area, like, you know, if you kind of live like close to Cape or something like that, their Facebook pages and websites have also had a lot of information on them. It's kind of where I've found a lot of the outlying, but not too far out places for vaccines.
Well, I want to talk about the Prepare STL as well, who are really working with your hospital and others and community partners to inform, as well as find out where we can get access. Again, Dr. Elizabeth Bergamini, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, well, beyond the information and logistics associated with the vaccine, there are a lot of personal considerations that go into the decision-making process. When we come back, let's talk about them. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Queen is just my everything.
His smile did it. His smile, his eyes, his knowledge. My landlord, he decided that he wanted me to move based on the fact that I was transgender. Let's just respect people in everyday life for just being human.
And welcome back to the show. Let's talk about the COVID vaccine. First, I want to get your thoughts, ladies, on the new viral sensation again, that's showing up with pictures on our social media of folks with their vaccination cards. I got my card. I got my card. You got your card. What do you think of that?
I saw it and I was like, I thought people were just overly excited. You know, they wanted to show. But then it was like, well, at the same time, does it give people pressure to now, okay, now let me show my card and somebody else showed theirs. And then also there's the issue of showing too much information. You know, you got to be careful about that. Your personal information is also on that card in some way, shape, or form. So I think even though people were excited, I would actually say I would not show my card. Yeah.
I didn't show my card, but BJC gave out cute little sleeves, and they actually gave out stickers and pins, stickers that said I've been vaccinated. And they gave out pins that said COVID-19 vaccinated. Yeah. And I think it's just kind of the same thing of, you know, back when cell phone cameras first came out and people were taking pictures of their ballot at the polls and people were just excited. I think it's just a way to share, and people aren't always in tune with what comes with that. So I think the stickers, I think they should just pass out more stickers. I don't care what age you are, you like a good sticker. Like I put mine on my car steering wheel at least for a good week, have it there, take a good social media photo, and that be it.
Yeah.
I agree with both Jamie.
So Jamie, on the, how do I take the best photo to represent that? This is your area of expertise.
I mean, it's an easy, let me give you a quick little example, right? What I would do if you got the vaccine, this is me, this is an official, so I'm gonna take this, imagine this color swatch is your vaccine card. I would just hold it over here and just have COVID and just hold it over your arm where you took the shot and say,
yeah,
and that be it. Let it go.
Oh, look at
That's
you.
all you need.
It looked like the light opened up.
It did.
Like, and the reason why.
Do it again. See? And then it like shines. Yeah.
But
see,
see,
the world just glows.
With the lips that go.
Yes. You got to give a little face.
Right. I say that, Jamie, because I feel like what you're doing there too, and I really appreciate Teena's awareness too. It generates an energy around a response. And with this pandemic and the hope that has been lost so much for last year, to see people dancing around in celebration of that and encouraging folks to look into how they can not only help their own health, but, you know, taking care of their neighbors and folks in the area, representing like that sounds really good to me. I do caution that information, too much information, as well as
they've absolutely said not to post it.
Oh, tell us about that, Amber. Talk about it.
The health departments and a couple other organizations have said absolutely do not post your card. And I think that vaccinations, if you want it, like I'm going to shine a light on you, whatever you're celebrating, I'm going to celebrate with you no matter what it is. But at the same time, like they've come out and said that this is personal information. Please don't post your whole vaccine card online. So don't do it. There's other ways to celebrate. And I'll celebrate with you. How Jamie did it, perfect. Yeah. But literally the agencies have come out and said, do not do this. So,
and it's not that you can't celebrate. Yay, you took control of your life and your situation and you're making a statement. And if you do it like Jamie said, you'll make it a fresh statement. But certainly if at the end of the day, you put yourself at risk, you know, we're back in another dilemma. So yeah, we're cheering them on. We're encouraging. Now, with that being said, that doesn't deal with the underlying conditions that may cause complications, as well as the distrust that many people have for a variety of reasons. As far as you ladies are concerned, let's talk about whether you think you should get it or not. Some of you have.
I'm just going to say I haven't, only because I'm nervous about my lymphatic system. When I went to have a test done, a normal routine test where they inject dye in your lymphatic system to see where it goes, I have a flare up for 2 to 3 days. Fever, feel like I have cellulitis. If I can't break that down, I don't know how my body will be able to handle the vaccination. Now, I'm not saying this is for everybody, but me personally, I'm just going to wait it out until I know exactly what is best for me. I'm on the edge. So I don't know. So I'm not jumping to it, but I don't disagree with people getting it. And whoever wants to get it, no judgment from me. It's just, this is for me and my body. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Even with my family members, if they want to, great. I just need to watch my body.
Powerful message, honey. Powerful message for everyone who has to consider this. What is going to be right for you and what matters to you most? How about you, Miss Amber Klear?
So I'm going to celebrate with people no matter what they're celebrating. That's my belief. But for me, it also becomes like a moral question because I'm a healthy individual and there's only so many doses of the vaccine. And more importantly, like I just had it and I give plasma. So if I would get the vaccine, I may not be able to give the plasma that people need that do have COVID, because I already had it and I have antibodies still. And so it also becomes a literal question of when is the right time? So I haven't even thought about it from that perspective, because for me, it's a moral choice now. Like if there's only so many available vaccines and I don't need something, I'm not going to take something. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now.
That's a big heart answer. And it's the kind of approach that we've been talking about with equity and inclusion along the way, all along, Amber, and you're standing for that. Thank you.
Now, I've taken people to go get it. I've helped people register because I do have a lot of, I don't want to call them elderly, but I have a lot of wisdom panel friends that, you know, they're smart on a lot of things in life, but they don't know how to work the computer system, or maybe they have problems getting internet access. So I think that that's my duty as their friend and as their neighbor to help them sign up and register and say, hey, get in the car, we're going, we're both wearing a mask, get your blanket, let's go.
Are you in or out, Miss Teena Love?
Yeah, well, you know, I've expressed some reluctancy, I think, on previous episodes of this show, and just saying that, you know, I'm a little reluctant just because of the fact that, you know, to me, I do believe it is a huge experiment, even though I know doctors says that it's safe. There's just something within me. They don't know all of the answers of this. And so I'm a little reluctant. However, I am strongly considering, just because my mother is over 70, she's 73, and she has underlying conditions, and I'm with her a lot. My church that I attend in St. Louis is pretty much 80%, well, most of the people are over 70 also. And so being around them without the vaccine, I understand is risky. They talk about if you've been fully vaccinated, you are able to not social distance and be without a mask with other people who are fully vaccinated. That says to me, if you're with someone who is not fully vaccinated, there's a risk to either yourself or the other person. So,
well, I think that they've come out and said that even though you're vaccinated, that you can still be a spreader of the virus.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what I said. It's a risk to you or the other person. So at the end of the day, it's just important, I guess, for me anyway, that I do it, even though I am reluctant.
Sure.
But it's not about me. It's about my mother and keeping her safe.
I feel that. Jamie, we're going to wrap our talk about this with you. What matters to you most when it comes to the COVID vaccine?
I think what matters most to me is the facts. And I think it's important that when people say what they think, what they've heard, do the research, look online, call your doctor, call a medical professional, and do what's best for you and your family. And if you choose not to get it for personal reasons, I think it's really important to not necessarily push that on others, because we are dealing with a pandemic that will not go away unless we are all vaccinated. We are all doing our part to stay safe, still wearing your mask, still staying safe, still social distancing, even after getting the vaccine. I think that's important. That's the only way that we're going to get out of this and move forward. So I'm proud to say that I'm fully vaccinated. I qualified under the current Missouri guidelines, and it was the best thing for myself. And I think that it's the best thing for everyone to do is to do what's best for them and to make sure you consult with your medical professional. But we're never going to move forward if we don't work together and really do what those that are licensed and trained tell us to do.
Those are excellent final thoughts. And we can choose better when we know better. So I'll close with get informed, get connected, and get informed. And for me, that's Prepare STL and what we're doing here with Let's Talk. Love talking to you ladies every week. This is going to do it for our time for now in this episode of Let's Talk. Make sure you follow us on social media and follow STL TV for all things St. Louis. And don't ever miss an episode. And we will see you next time.